What up, world? It's your man Melvin Taylor. You're tuned into another episode of the Alternative with Melvin Taylor radio show. Remember, you can find us here every single week during quarantine on my YouTube channel, Melvin Taylor Traditionally, you can find us on WHCR.org, 90.3 FM New York, the voice of Harlem, as we are there every single week, Monday night, 11:55 p.m. until 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm recording this video Sunday around 2:38 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or recording this, recording this recording. I'm talking about video. I ain't even got the video on yet. Now we got the video on, and now we're getting all of that too, man. So we're trying to do it on all aspects right now for you guys, and being able to get the episode out there. This is episode 179, and we will be talking a lot about everything that's been going on this past week, man. It's just been tough for people of color, and when I say people of color, I'm not even gonna use that term. It's been tough for black people this past week. It has been a lot going on, and we're gonna make sure to get into all of that. But as traditionally as the radio show goes, I gotta make sure to give y'all all the other news and whatnot that we're talking about as well. So we're gonna be talking about Insecure. We're gonna be talking about the beat battle supposed to be going on tonight. Talk about Launch America, sports, and then we'll get into more of the heavier topics. As look, man, being a black man here today, there's no way in the world that I could not address everything what's going on. I have to. It is my duty to do so, and that's what I'm going to do with the platform that I have, and I'm so glad to be able to be here to do that with you guys. So we're going to get started with some music first. But remember, you can find us on my YouTube channel, Melvin Taylor 16,000 and growing. You can find us on social media, on my website. All of that is Melvin Taylor as well. You can find the show, the radio show itself, TheAltWIthMel, TheAltWithMel, on all platforms too. So, got some music coming up for y'all right now, then we'll get right back to the show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, remember you are tuned in to The Alternative with Melvin Taylor. You can find us here every single week, WHCR 90.3 FM New York, the voice of Harlem, 11:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also find us on my YouTube channel, Melvin Taylor Okay. Up first, we always got to talk about the alternative road, the journey, what it's looking like for me to be able to get to where I want to go with my dreams and whatnot. But we're going to talk about that on the back end, because the alternative road this week, usually I will have guests on to speak about their journeys. But as much as I do want to plug the interviews that I'll have releasing this week, the journey for me itself has been more about reflection as of who I am and where I am in this moment in time in the world and in history as a black person. And we're going to talk about all of that when we get to more into the later parts of group chat news and Say It With Your Chest, where we talk about the riots and the protests that have been going on this past week. So we're going to save that for a little bit. And the YouTube channel was also on pause last week as well, because again, I had to step away to be able to really find within myself what's been going on, what's been happening, so that way I could address things in the best manner in which I could, in the way in which I wanted to. Moving on past that, shout out to everybody listens every single week. Tanya, Young Chris, Cole Riot, Bone and Naomi, Britton, and especially my Patreon supporters, Eric, Larry, and JL. I appreciate you guys. For anybody that wants to support the Patreon, you definitely can. It's patreon.com/Melvin Taylor and on there you can find the different tiers for the YouTube channel, as well as other things that I'm creating, other digital shorts, other narrative formats, so that way you can stay in the know about what's going on. Normally at this point in time, I would talk about any albums that I listened to from this past week, or albums that I'm going to listen to upcoming. And to be honest, man, with the way that the past week has been going, like, I'm really in a pro-black mood. And again, being pro-black, for anybody that doesn't understand, doesn't mean that we're being anti anybody else. It means that we're just celebrating ourselves, because too often we will look towards everybody else to celebrate them, because everybody should get their due. Everybody should be celebrated when it's their time to. But we're overlooked far too many times. So for this week especially, I'm about as pro-black as you can get when it comes to music. I'm about to be bumping to Pimp a Butterfly, Royce's The Allegory, about to listen to a bunch of J. Cole, Sci-Hi with the Black History Project. What's crazy? The past couple weeks, I have literally been wanting to listen to so much Ice Cube, just from not even on the music level, but I've come to grow and respect him so much more for what he's been doing as a businessman on the movie side, on the sports side with Big Three as well, and then going back to him being such a dope, top tier, all time lyricist as well, and him having written for Eazy-E, him having written for Dr. Dre, him writing for others and just really appreciating him. And then when you mask all of that in what's been going on the past week or so, that's everywhere where I'm at right now. So by this time next week, I'm going to be fully deep into all of their catalogs on music, and I may do some videos about that too, or plan some things accordingly as to how I'm gonna do it, because that's where I'm at with all of this right now. Moving on past that, sketch comedy, we'll get to that later on, because obviously we're still in quarantine right now. I hope that everybody is still quarantining, even though it doesn't look like that with all the protests that are going on. We still need you to make sure that you're wearing your mask out there. Make sure that you're being safe, especially if you're in the home with somebody who can be heavily affected by COVID-19, by the coronavirus. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, if you're in a situation where somebody that you love can be critically affected by COVID-19, don't go out and protest. I would much rather you donate to the bail funds, amplify links, amplify positive videos that are out there that the media is not sharing. Do your part that way, because we would hate for you to go out and protest the injustice just to bring this virus back to your home and people be affected by that. So please make sure that you are staying as safe as possible, and that those around you are being as safe as possible as well, because it is hectic as hell out here, as from what you can see on social media. And if you don't know about what's going on out here, go ahead and check out everything that I'm sharing online, because I'm doing my part as well to amplify and to make sure that people can understand what is actually happening right now. All right. Let's get over into group chat news, okay? Group chat news, for everybody that don't know, are some of those topics that you talk about with your homies, with your friends, that you'll just kind of share, and that way spark discussion between you guys there. And again, with me recording this on Sunday, I won't be able to go into as much depth as some of these topics by the time you guys see this video or hear this audio, right? First thing that I want to talk about is Insecure. It comes on tonight, and it's also a great way for you to be able to, and especially I'm speaking to my black people, for you to be able to take time away from what's going on, because as much as we need to understand and be in the center of what's happening right now outside, we also need that time to decompress. We also need that time to rest. We also need that time to breathe, because we've been dealing with this for so long. It can drive you crazy constantly being in it. We need that time to be able to take a step back and breathe and decompress, as I already said. So tonight on Insecure, as y'all remember from last week's episode, Molly was out with Andrew in Mexico with Andrew's family, and things were getting tense. We saw how all of that ended up turning out. Tonight's episode, Issa's going to be meeting up with Lawrence, because I believe this episode is focused more on Lawrence. And Natasha Rothwell is going to be, she wrote this episode. I would love for her, she plays Kelly, for those of y'all that don't know. I would love for her to have her own episode. However, while we still waiting on that, maybe in season 5, since they did bring it back, since they did renew it, she might get her own episode. But I'm excited to see what storyline we get out of this, because Issa said that these last couple episodes are her favorite for how things are going to begin ramping up how we usually expect them to within Insecure. So I'm excited about that. All right, we got the beat battle. Fred Hampton versus Kirk Franklin. Who are you choosing? I'm going with Fred Hampton, bro. As much as I love Kirk Franklin got the mega hits. Everybody know Kirk Franklin name. Everybody don't know Fred Hampton name. And that goes back to the Neo battle, when everybody was picking Neo and was like, oh man, look, Neo finna smash. Now look, not saying again, Neo got some major hits. Everybody know Neo. But all of the hits that the opponent has tucked away, man, you gotta be safe. I'm really forgetting. I'm not gonna disrespect Jonta Austin like that and just talk about him and be like, bro, I don't have your name right there. Let me make sure to go ahead and pull that up. Everybody thought Neo was gonna win. Jonta Austin pulled his bag, pulled it all out the bag, and was like, here you go, take this L, Neo. I believe that's the same thing Fred Hampton is about to do to Kirk Franklin tonight, because Fred Hampton got hits for forever, man. for forever. He is like one of those unsung heroes within the gospel community for sure. So that's who I'm rolling with. We'll see who ends up winning. Obviously, y'all can let me know who ended up winning, or I'll be able to see online who ended up winning. But that's who I'm choosing. We gonna see how all of that ends up rocking out. Okay. After that, we got Launch America. Launch America. In case y'all didn't know, SpaceX and NASA teamed up to launch 2 astronauts into orbit. And this is major because remember back, I want to say it was in 2011, NASA had basically been defunded, so to speak, with sending people on missions into orbit. So for SpaceX and them to be able to team up and to make this happen, it was a momentous day. I've always been a space nerd, and for me to be able to watch this live and see it happen is something to me that has like it just warms my heart, man, because I'm one of those people that love learning about outer space. I love learning about black holes. I love watching movies about it. Love learning about planets and how like the moon affects the earth, how the earth affects the moon, and vice versa, and how like the tides are affected, and how that can also change your mood depending on when you're born and where the moon is positioned, and how all of that stuff I'm a geek for. So being able to watch this live was amazing to me. Now, I do know that Elon Musk sometimes be tripping. So I'm like, all right, I ain't out here standing my boy in no way, shape, or form. But I'm kind of getting, as I'm getting older, I'm getting off of the whole stand train where I'm like, oh, this is my fave because blah, blah, blah. And I want to be just like, I'm like, they all human. Everybody had their own flaws and whatnot, So I'm very excited about what he and his company and NASA were able to do. And if you haven't seen a video for that, you can definitely go check that on YouTube. It is there for you to be able to watch, or Instagram, or whatever platform you're choosing. I'm sure that they're sharing videos of it. It's just amazing to be able to watch. So make sure you go do that. I'm sorry if I'm not going as in depth with what I normally do with group chat and all these other topics that I'm kind of just like skimming over. That's because obviously I really want to get to the meat of things. So just bear with me right now as we're going through everything else. And remember that Elon Musk is one of the main people that are trying to send people to Mars in the near future, and that he's very adamant about being the person that makes that happen. So this is that first step to being able to make this happen. So hey, 2020, we sending people out into space right now. 2024, we might be sending people to Mars on a one-way trip. Or maybe by that point in time, he might have the technology to make it not a one-way trip. We'll see what's going to happen by that point. So we're going to make sure to stay in tune with all of that. For any of y'all that can pronounce his child's name, please let me know. Because I have no idea how to pronounce that little kid's name. I don't know what they doing with that name, man. I don't know what that is. And I saw that they said somebody tweeted out they had made a change to the name, and somebody made a joke saying that, oh man, he got his first update, because if you read that name, it sounds like a computer algorithm almost. So I don't know how to pronounce it. If one of y'all do know how, definitely let me know. Okay, going into sports. The NBA is supposed to be coming back. They're trying to make sure that everybody can be back by July 31st. So they're starting to implement plans to be able to allow people to come back to their facilities and be around each other. I think it's going to be a little rocky because they're looking at different formats as to how to bring teams back, because not all the teams are going to be invited. They're thinking about just starting with the playoffs or playing only a couple more games. And for those teams that were close to getting into playoffs, some of them are going to be upset. They're thinking about changing the entire format for this season and just saying, what if we just took 1 through 16? So instead of having traditionally the top 8 teams from both conferences, they would combine the conferences and say whoever are the top 16 teams would then be brought to the playoffs. So some teams that are very close on the Western Conference would not be able to get in. That's why Damian Lillard was saying, if we're coming back for a couple meaningless games and we won't have a chance to get into the playoffs, I'm not playing any of those games. And I understand them. It's like, this is what my livelihood is. This is what I'm fighting for all the time. And y'all just want to change things up, right? I'm not for that. Y'all still want me to put my body on the line, my career on the line, my potential and future on the line for a couple of things that's only going to bring enjoyment in a small fraction to people. No, I'm not doing that. I understand exactly what he's saying, and I get that. And also, Joe Ingles was another player who spoke out and said, if the NBA does come back, I won't be participating. He's a huge asset to the Utah Jazz. And for him to say that was groundbreaking because he has children that could very much be affected by COVID, and he doesn't want to be away from them in this point in time right now. It's understandable, especially with the way in which everything is going right now. I can see why a father would say, I don't know about this plan. I don't know about this idea. And if that means I got to sit out the rest of this, by all means, that's what I'm going to do, because I need to make sure that my family is safe. I get it. A lot of these companies, a lot of these sports are only trying to come back right now to make money. They're trying to come back to make money because nothing is going on. And they know that if they do this now, they'll be able to make money to make up for what they're missing out on. And what my thing is, and we're going to get into a little bit this with baseball too, because that's what I'm going to say next. Trying to rush into things now are only going to hurt you later down the line, because when you do come back, people will remember what you did now and who you put at risk, and then not support you later on. If you take the proper steps, measure everything out, and make sure that you are as safe as possible moving forward with your plan, then people will make sure to support you hand over foot when everything does come back. But if you're just rushing into things now, people are not going to support you. I mean that specifically when I look at baseball and the NFL. Baseball aren't even paying their AAA players anymore. And they're also saying, all right, we're going to start rushing some of y'all back to be able to play. Some of the baseball players are saying, bro, I'm not going to play. I'm not doing that. No, I'm not in shape. We haven't had the time to get it together. And now you want me to put my family and everybody at risk or be away from my family for X amount of time just because y'all want to rush back and get some money? No, not doing it. And I get it. I get it 100%. I wouldn't want to be separated from my family in that way either. And yes, I am making millions of dollars to be able to play this sport. So that means I can chill and relax. I can sit back and say, oh, I can wait more months. I can wait till next season. Okay? I don't have to do this right now. Because y'all not gonna pull me out of my quarantine, out of my comfort zone, force me to do something, and then have to go back with my family, and I could potentially affect them and some of the others around here that would be critically affected by this virus. Y'all out y'all minds. Y'all out y'all damn mind. Not gonna happen at all. And with the NFL, they decided to make a statement about everything that's been going on the past week, but failed to mention anything about police brutality, failed to mention anything about, I don't know, the biggest statement that they could have made, Colin Kaepernick, in any way, shape, or form, who literally knelt for all of this. And they were giving him so much flack for all of this. But now you choose to say this? Why? We're not looking for you to say anything. I know as a PR move, you have to say something. I know you do. There are times when y'all just need to be quiet. This is one of them. Just hush up and just let this go ahead on pass, or just put out a simple statement. Just post the hashtag Black Lives Matter. But we know that's not how y'all feel. So if that is how y'all felt, y'all could have did that and just moved on, right? You could have made a simple statement and kept it moving. When you choose to go longer with your paragraphs and explain a bunch of stuff, all we have is more to look at to say, you ain't stuff. I would love to say something else, but again, we on radio and I can't really say that. But y'all get what I'm saying. Man, up next, we got the Avengers of Protesting, bro. We had everybody coming out the woodworks to support these protests that were going on, man. I saw people that are witches out there with signs that I've never seen before. We saw the Amish pulling up, holding their signs in protest, marching with people in protest. That's amazing to me. Even y'all brought out Anonymous. Anonymous came out and was like, okay, cool. That's how y'all want to do it? This how y'all want to run things? All right, bet. Anonymous shut down the Minnesota Police Department website. Not only that, one of my homies is a cop in Chicago. Anonymous played polka music over the scanner so that way the cops couldn't listen to what was going on. They couldn't get in touch with one another. They couldn't listen to the police scanners. I'm loving the aspect of everybody beginning to pitch in, because for so long, it seemed like everything that black people were saying were falling on deaf ears. For so long, it seemed as if every time we would be screaming at the top of our lungs for people to respect us and to help us out, to understand what we're going through, they would all be silent. They wouldn't say anything. They would just go on and continue on like nothing had happened. And to be able to see people come out in mass to help us out is amazing to me. It literally warms my heart to see that. And I'm so glad. But we also got people out there that are using this as a cover to incite violence, to spark riots, to light things on fire. We're going to get into that a little bit later. But I just want y'all to know that I do appreciate the people that are actually out there doing the work. Make sure that y'all wearing y'all mask and being safe still, having hand sanitizer, trying to stay a distance away from people, because we don't want people to go back inside and 2 weeks later end up being extremely sick due to everything that's going on. So please make sure that y'all still taking care of yourselves. Lastly, for group chat news, we also got the celebrities out here that are tripping. Man, look, for any celebrity that's out there, if you got something to say that's against the protesters right now, just shut up. Just shut up. Just be quiet. Because you're really putting your reputation and everything that you work hard for on the line right now. You really are. Why? You know, if you ain't got nothing good to say, then don't say nothing at all. A lot of y'all are out here sharing examples of this is how people should be acting when y'all don't have the range or the knowledge to be able to talk in depth about that. Case in point, Shamik Moore, who played Miles Morales in the Into the Spider-Verse movie, was out here saying Rosa Parks should have took a cab. What are you doing? Why? What is this? What does that have to do with anything that's going on? Saying that Rosa Parks shouldn't have gave up her seat on the bus? What are you doing, bro? Why are you tripping? You worked hard to get to that position that you're in, and now you about to speak yourself out of it. And you know what? Maybe that was God's plan overall. For him to put you up to that point to show you, man, look, these people that we put in these positions that we prop up aren't all who we think that they are. And if that's the case, so be it. But that makes me think even deeper as to what is making you think that Rosa Parks, instead of making the change that she made and helping to become a figure in civil rights history, instead should have just took a cab. There were black cabs around that point in time. She could have just did that. Why? Why can't she just take the bus? Why does she have to give up her seat on the bus? Why does that bother you so much as another black man who would have also got that same treatment back then? Next person I'm going to speak to, LL Cool J. LL. Man, if you on LL's team, take his phone, man. Take his phone. Take his phone. Because you are really... There are a lot of people out here right now that are talking about, and this is the same point that LL was trying to prove, the people that are biracial have to choose a side. No, you don't. You're biracial so you feel both. But when them police pull you over, you know what you're going to be? Black. You're black. Tiger Woods, for the longest amount of time, was not acknowledging that he was black in any way. You go ahead and check them police reports for when they locked him up. What they list him as? Black. You're black. So for you to say y'all got to understand what it's like for these biracial people that are out here. No, I don't. They need to understand that when they go out and protest, when people look at them, they see you as black. Now, if your skin is very light and you are passing, your experience may be different when people see you. But you should feel the same thing that we're feeling when people that share our skin tone, that share our blood, are out here being abused for no reason, are out here being murdered by the police for no reason, just because they have the authority to do it. You should feel just as enraged. You should feel just as angered. And for you to say as a biracial person, I can't understand what a black person is going through because that's not my experience. All right. Go up in front of a police officer and see how they feel about that. Because you know that's not true. You know it's not. Next person I'm talking to, Lil Wayne. This is where I start to diverge some. Because Lil Wayne was out here saying before that racism didn't exist. It's not something that he's ever seen. And that people need to chill off the rioting and looting because the police aren't that bad. In cases like his, I don't even get upset anymore because a long time ago I etched out he's not going to feel and go through the same things that we go through. Same thing with like a LL Cool J. He's not going to go through the same things that we go through. Why do I say that? Because they've been so removed from the typical struggle that a regular black person will go through. And I say regular, somebody that does not have the same fame or does not have the same finances that they have, right? They're so removed from it, they can't understand it. Why can Lil Wayne say that stuff? He's been popular since he was 11, 12 years old, 13, when he was rapping back in the day. So anybody that he's around is going to be seen at a certain status. He's going to have money. So people aren't going to treat him like they're going to treat everybody else that's out here on the street, that's protesting, that's marching. So for him to say those things, I just look at him like, you have no idea, man. You have no idea. You're not out here. You're not going through these same struggles that other people are going with. So for you, racism might not exist because you have the money to be away from it. You have the fame due to people knowing who you are, for them to not treat you in the inhuman ways that they're treating people out here. They're not going to dehumanize you the same way they're going to do Joe that's down the street, Jamal that's over that way, Jordan that's over that way. They're not going to do it to you the same way that they would to them. And if they did, you would have the money to fight it. Therefore, your experience still won't be the same. So some of them celebrities just need to be quiet on that aspect. But I still got a couple more. I'm looking at Desi that always be trending for the funny videos on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. And him saying that people shouldn't be rioting, people shouldn't be looting. There's another way to go about it. And then him doubling down and saying, him sharing a picture of Martin Luther King and everybody on Bloody Sunday and saying that's the way to protest. And underneath it, showing pictures of people looting and saying this is not how you protest. This goes back to me saying, if you don't have the range to talk about these things, leave it alone. Because later on he was educated and then had to come back and recant his statements. Because on Bloody Sunday, these same pictures that you guys are sharing, MLK and them got the hell beat out of them. Did y'all not see the rest of the movies? Did y'all not read the rest of the history books? Did y'all not watch the rest of the documentaries? No, you just want to share pictures so that way you don't mess up any of your brand deals. So you don't mess up any of the money that you got coming in. Newsflash. If you being with the people causes a company, a brand, not to want to work with you anymore, why are you working with them? If they can't see that people that look like you are out here getting beat senselessly, out here getting murdered, and they're telling you not to say anything about it, why would you want to work with them? It makes no sense. Leave that company alone. I love what King Batch is out here saying that if you've ever asked me to share a link, to promote a video, to endorse a product, and now you're coming over to me saying, yo, quiet down while all this is going on, I don't want to work with you anymore. I don't need to associate with you anymore. I mess with that heavy. Why would you want to work with a company that's telling you to be quiet about people that look like you getting beat? Does that money matter to you that much? And if it does, that has me looking at you in a different way now, saying what you doing with your finances. Because if you're relying that much on companies that feel that way about you, you got a whole nother subset of issues that you need to start being aware of, my friend. You need to get all that together for damn sure. I'm looking at B. Simone the same way. Because B. Simone was saying, hey, y'all out here destroying a lot of these businesses that are out here serving y'all. I highly doubt that any black people are going into black neighborhoods and destroying black businesses. If they are taking things, which I can acknowledge that there probably are some that are doing that, right? I'm not going to be facetious in saying that ain't nobody around here doing any of that. I bet you we ain't start breaking that glass though. I bet you we ain't start throwing them Molotov cocktails. I bet you we ain't start none of that. We know better. We know better than that. So make sure that you're directing your anger at the right places. We're being peaceful. But it's these people that's going around in all black outfits so that way you can't see them. There's some of these white people that's going around breaking this glass, throwing these fireballs, as y'all calling them, and hiding behind the protesters so that way it gives the protest a bad name. We'll get into a little bit more about that later on. But even then, if some of these companies are losing their goods, if they got insurance, they can get all that back. We'll get into that more later too. Last thing that I want to say about the celebs that's tripping. Atlanta. I haven't watched all these videos yet, and I'm going to do so because I want to make sure I can be as informed as possible. Right? Y'all were out here saying the police ain't done none of y'all. So why are y'all looting? Why are y'all burning? Why are y'all doing this? Let's back it up some. Especially T.I. saying, yo, this is Wakanda out here. I feel where you coming from, dog. But we got to make sure that we regulating Wakanda the way in which we need to be doing. People are out there peacefully protesting. Police are inciting violence. Why are you yelling at the people? Y'all institute a curfew at 9:15 or so, right? By 9:45, y'all already enforcing it. People don't even have the time to get home. So then we watching on TV people being pulled out their cars and tased on camera. But you got the nerve to say the Atlanta Police Department ain't done nothing? We're watching it on live TV. They're tasing people on live TV. So what do you mean they ain't did nothing? Huh? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. So the same people that was saying all of that, I hope that y'all are now saying, you know what? Y'all right. I hope that y'all are. Otherwise, y'all looking real funny out here. Because this situation to me is showing who I need to be paying attention to moving forward and who I need to be leaving alone. Because I'm all for my people. I'm all for everybody. But right now is about making sure that my people get what they need when they need it. And for far too long, we've had to see stuff like this happen and people discredit us. And now that it's out there, I don't want to hear none of that BS no more. And if y'all can't get with that, then get lost. Period. Let's go ahead and hop into some music and then we'll be right back with Say It With Your Chest. Remember, this is The Alternative with Melvin Taylor, II. You can find us every single week, Monday nights, 11:55 p.m. until 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on WHCR 90.3 FM New York. You can listen live on WHCR.org or listen on my YouTube channel, Melvin Taylor, II. We'll be right back. Here's some more music. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back right here. The Alternative with Melvin Taylor, II radio show. Remember, you can find us every single week, Monday night, 11:55 p.m. until 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on WHCR.org, WHCR 90.3 FM New York, the voice of Harlem. You can also find me live on my YouTube channel, Melvin Taylor, II, during quarantine. Every Monday night, I'll have a new video up there for you guys recanting everything that's been going on this past week for this radio show. Usually it's a lot more fun, but obviously, man, look, we got to get to it when we got to get to it, man. There's no way, shape, or form that you can dance around any of the stuff that's happening right now. Man, I desperately need some more water. I'm going to get some of that later, but we got to keep going right now. Okay. Say It With Your Chest is up next. So Say It With Your Chest is when I usually take a lot more time to speak about the different topics that are really hitting hard over the past week. And obviously all of this right now is going to be dedicated to what's been going on with these protests and riots. So let's get into it. Here we go. First things that I do want to say to start off. All of this could have been avoided. All of this could have been avoided. Every brick that's been thrown, every person that's been hit, every person that's been arrested, every person that's been pepper sprayed, every person that's been maced, all the water that's been damaged and destroyed and poured out by police, all of the people that are ending up in hospitals, all the people that are being knelt on the ground, that are being forcefully arrested, all the buildings that are burning, all of the cars that are burning, all of the businesses that are being lost, all of this could have been avoided had the Minnesota Police Department acted swifter and arrested and charged all 4 cops. None of this would be happening. I just want y'all to understand that. before we get into how we feel about any of the riots, any of the protests going on, understand all of this could have been avoided if you simply arrested and charged 4 people. 4 people that were on film contributing to the death of a man for no reason. If we can't agree on that, then I promise you we ain't gonna agree on nothing moving forward. All of this could have been avoided had that happened, but it didn't. So now this is where we are. Now, why are these protests happening? These protests are happening because it took too long for the main officer to be arrested. We saw it on camera. We saw what happened. So why is it taking so long for him to be arrested? That's why we go out and protest, because it makes no sense. It's an injustice that for far too long, black people, I'm not going the people of color route. I'm not doing that right now because y'all don't go through the same things that we go through. Black people have for far too long had to go through this time and time again. And every time that we protested in the way in which y'all have asked us to protest, nothing is still changed. Nothing changed. So no, we're not going to protest that way anymore. We're not. So when these protests escalate to rebellions, because I don't really call it a riot, because we're not the ones starting the riots. When they turn into rebellions, y'all got to look back in the mirror at yourself and say, why did this happen? Oh, because we didn't do our job. Now we get to the point that, yes, the one cop was arrested and charged. What about the other 3? What are they doing? Why do they still get to sit at home with their families and act like nothing happened at all? Like they weren't on camera, second by second, taking the life out of a man. Why do they get to be okay, swept under the rug and forgotten about? No, charge them too after arresting them. That needs to happen. That leads you to the next point. Why hasn't the government acknowledged that the police brutality that's going on is a big problem? And that's consistently happened over and over and over again. Why do you have Trump out here tweeting the fact that a month ago he was saying these same people, not the same people. A month ago he was saying that the white people that were out there protesting about how their rights were being infringed upon because they were being kept inside. They want to go get brunch. They want to have haircuts. They want to go to the gym. A month ago he was tweeting that the governors of that state need to get it together so that those fine people can go on and live their lives. And now a month later, when we're having public outcry over a man being murdered, he's saying soon as the looting starts, the shooting starts. So you calling for Americans to get killed now? That's what you want? Do you not see how did y'all elect him? How did y'all let this happen? I ain't looking at no black people. Y'all know how we turn up in the vote. So don't y'all dare look at us and say, hey man, y'all need to go out and vote. Y'all better stop with the bull. Y'all know we go out and do our part. It's y'all who don't, and y'all know who I'm talking to. Y'all don't go out and do y'all part. So now we got to deal with this. That's the same reason why when I see black people saying, I'm not going out there and protesting, y'all can go ahead out there and handle that. I get it. Because we didn't cause this. And we can't be the ones to fix it. Y'all have to fix it. Y'all have to go out there and do something about it. There's only so much that we can do because we're not in power because of the way it's systematically built. So for y'all to get mad at people that don't want to go out there and protest, that don't want to be out there on the front lines, y'all some hypocrites. Because y'all are the only ones that can really fix this. Y'all want us to go out there and get beat down? For us to all just go back to normal and y'all not to say anything? For y'all to not turn up on y'all friends, on y'all family members, on these people that y'all voted in the office? No. I'm not finna go out there and risk my life for that. After y'all seen on camera what they did to me, to my brother, to my sister, to my cousins, to my aunts, to my uncles, to my parents, to my grandparents for decades, for centuries. No, we ain't doing that no more. Y'all go handle that. Because y'all got to look at y'all people in the face and fix it. How has the government not acknowledged that this is a problem? Moving on, black people being killed by white people en masse is an issue. Where did they take Dylan Roof after they arrested him? To a restaurant to get some food. After he murdered people. After he murdered people. After he murdered people. They took him to go get some food. Just let that sink in for a moment. And yet, this man, George Floyd, in all the videos we've seen, was not resisting arrest in any way, shape, or form. But you see him being walked to the car, and then when he's getting put in a car, they are beating the hell out of him before they ultimately put him on the ground and murder him. Breonna Taylor, they ran up in her house and killed her. They killed her in her own house. But Dylan Roof is safely taken back to the precinct. Hey guys, I'm hungry. All right, what you want to eat? We got it. Are y'all serious? Amhaud Arbery. Is murdered for no reason. For no reason. And we told to just forget about it. The lady in Central Park was calling to have something that happened to George Floyd happen to my man that was bird watching. Lady, just put your dog on a leash. Just put your dog on a leash at the park. We out here supposed to be social distancing and your dog running amok. I'm glad you got banned from Central Park. Don't come back. You like, oh, my life is being inconvenienced. I got fired from my job. Yeah, because you know what you was trying to do. You know exactly what you were trying to do. So I don't feel for you that your life is being inconvenienced now. Welcome to what so many of us have to go through on a consistent basis. Welcome to the fact that we have to work all of these lower jobs during this quarantine just to get beat by the people that we call for help. After we already have not gotten all the resources that we need. After we're already being turned away from the hospitals. After we're already not getting all of the health care that we need. After some of us still are not getting our stimulus checks out here. Some people still waiting on unemployment. My bad, that was my stomach. I'm kind of hungry. I ain't ate yet. Welcome to all of that. Let's keep on going. I just want y'all to know that this autopsy that came out that said that George Floyd already had health issues. Therefore, it was not the kneeling on his neck that caused him to die. I hope y'all know that if that man gets off of these charges, if he is cleared of these charges, y'all in for a whirlwind of trouble. If y'all think that this is bad right now, you won't believe what's going to happen when that man gets cleared of charges, if that is to happen. I pray to God it don't. Because y'all ain't seen everybody turn up yet the way that they will. If that goes on, all the stuff that y'all acting like y'all fearing for right now, y'all really gonna be in fear for. It's gonna be a major problem. Now, some people may be asking, Melvin, why do you feel this passionately? Why do you feel that way? Well, obviously I'm a black man, so I have to feel some way about it. Second, I remember how I felt when George Zimmerman got off. Sure, you can argue to stand your ground law, all the semantics and whatnot, but we know what he did. We know he murdered that boy in cold blood. We know that. That one was the one to me that never sat right, that affected me and has been carried with me every day since then. I remember sitting on my grandma's couch, listening to the verdict, watching it on TV, and just bawling my eyes out. Just thinking me or any of my cousins or my brother, my friends, my family members, that could happen to any of us. And I remember hearing people began to turn up outside in Chicago. It was the fireworks that I heard, bro. That was gunshots I heard up in the air. People was pissed that this happened. Unbelievable. Ever since then, I've understood why people get so upset. Why people kept going. I've already understood it, but at that point, I felt it on another level. I don't have no issue with nobody because that's happened way too many times. We're shouting out these 3 names this week, and y'all see the laundry list of names that we could replace all of them with. And y'all know it's messed up, but y'all still choose to not say anything. Y'all still choose to do the bare minimum. Y'all still choose not to inform yourself on what more you could do. Then you go on and burden people that are already dealing with this to say, how can I be of more help? At a certain point, man, go do your own research and figure out how. Ain't it clear to you that I'm dealing with enough right now? That now I gotta help you? It's not the fact that I don't want to help you. I want you to help. I want to help you. But damn, there's only so much I can deal with at one point in time. Wait, give me a moment. I need to get my emotions, my thoughts, my feelings together. I need to make sure my people are okay before I can help you sort through what it is that you're feeling. That's what I gotta do. Moving on, I'm all right with all the riots and the looting that's going on. All the goods that's being taken, stolen, burned. I'm fine with that. Why am I fine with that? Because all of that can be replaced. Let's not act like these billionaires haven't gotten richer during this quarantine because we've had to rely on the businesses and services that they set up. Hell, even Target CEO came out and was like, man, it's fine. Do what y'all gotta do. All that can be replaced. I'm paraphrasing what they said, obviously. All of that can come back. We can make more chairs. We can make more checkout aisles. We can make more clothes. Gucci, Louis, all that'll be fine. They can make more products. George Floyd can't come back and go to his family. Breonna Taylor can't be reunited with her love again and all her family. Amhaud Arbery ain't jogging home. They not coming back. Those goods, those windows, those cars, those tires, the gates, the pots that have the flowers and whatnot outside, all of that can be replaced, man. Human life can't be replaced. And the fact that it's got to be spelled out for some of y'all so much is just infuriating. It's even more infuriating that I have to see it live in it constantly, and then explain to you why it's infuriating, as if you don't know already. Even some of these shop owners that are saying burn it down, like some of the Minnesota shop owners are like, hey man, it's fine, burn it down. Part of that is them being with the people. Other part of that is them knowing we got insurance, we can get all that back. So why are all y'all upset? Why are you mad? You need to be more mad at the system that allowed all this to happen. Be mad at the politicians that you voted in. Be mad at your friends and family that are still perpetuating the same tired perspectives that are allowing this racism to continue. Be mad at that. When we move over to how more people are responding to this, understand that all of these protests that are beginning start out peacefully and end peacefully. The only reason that they turn into these riots that y'all are calling are because the police are inciting the violence. And because people are being placed in these crowds that are burning down these buildings, that are burning down these vehicles, that are breaking the glass on these windows, that are starting the looting. We're not going to go into our own neighborhoods and do that. There are other forces out there, and y'all know who I'm talking about, that are placing people in the crowds, that are starting this, that are making it look like we are, that are giving these protests and protesters a bad name and a black eye. Why would we go out and destroy our own neighborhoods? If these companies and these owners are with us, we're not gonna mess with them. Just like, again, all of this could be avoided if the police just march with us and say, we understand, they messed up, we got our flaws, we trying to fix them. Whatever y'all want to do to be down and help us fix it, we'll be with that. Did y'all see the video of the police in Flint? In Flint, Michigan, who still ain't got clean water, by the way. The police took off all their gear and said, we gonna march with y'all, let's go. Big ups to them. Same thing happened in New Jersey. Police took off their riot gear and said, we walking with y'all. That's all the people want. That's why they out there. For the police to acknowledge what they did was incorrect, that the systems that they have in place are bogus, and that they need to be fixed, and that they gonna work with the people to do that. If that's done, none of this stuff happens. But because that's not happening, you seeing people being beat on camera that are out there peacefully protesting. I'm watching videos of in Oakland, them shooting tear gas into the crowd, them macing little kids in LA, them beating on people. I've seen people running for their lives out here in Brooklyn. I see medics on the ground with knees on their neck and they screaming, I'm a medic. I'm seeing journalists being shot in the face with rubber pellets, with mace, after they're screaming out that they press. At first y'all thought it was just us that was crazy. Now y'all seeing that they treating y'all the exact same way. How does that feel? The police are out here tearing people's masks off, macing them. Do you know during any protest at all, for a policeman to just openly just mace somebody in the face that's only yelling stuff at them is asinine. Y'all telling me police are human, they only got so much they can take. I understand that because I got homies as police officers. But you're taught to de-escalate situations, not get people riled up. That's people that's on a power trip that want some authority and that just want to use it. Why would you do that? And to take that further, why would you do that during a pandemic? You gonna give somebody respiratory issues? Now what happens if they get the virus? Now 2 weeks later, they might die? All because you pulled down their mask and sprayed mace in their face? I'm watching police officers take water from stations that protesters have set up and pour it out. Why? Why are you shooting tear gas into peaceful crowds? Why are you kicking people, knocking people over, hitting them with batons, hitting them with shields? Why, NYPD, are you running people over in cars? That's uncalled for. It's uncalled for on a multitude of levels. And it's despicable, and y'all know that. Getting back to what I said about people being planted in the crowds. If y'all haven't checked Joy Reid's tweets, I was posting about those yesterday. And the fact that Minnesota investigated that people from out of town were the ones that were starting the riots. People from out of town are the ones that are throwing the Molotov cocktails. People from out of town are the ones that are breaking the glass. Majority of people that were arrested for from out of town. Or are people that they suspect to be supremacists. Does that not sound funny to y'all? They're the ones that are giving the protests black eyes and turning them into riots. There's an entire cycle of them starting this stuff. And then people that are constantly being oppressed, that are seeing people beat on camera, that have not gotten their stimulus checks, that have not gotten unemployment, that are not getting the healthcare services, are now going out saying, I got to get what's mine. But that's what y'all are getting and showing on camera. Y'all not showing the people that are starting all this stuff. They're not going to be the ones disciplined. They not having the National Guard called on them. They not being arrested. Y'all not charging the people that's throwing the rocks and hiding their hand. Y'all charging the people that's just standing around that look like a suspect to y'all. So answer me this, right? Y'all see all these bricks and stuff that's out here? All these cars that's just randomly left alone and police just chilling, just watching them? Don't that sound like bait to y'all? See, in areas of Chicago, in case y'all don't know, there's this thing that they got called bait trucks. What they do with these bait trucks is they'll leave them open and they'll have boxes of Nike shoes, Jordans, Adidas shoes, clothes, all that stuff that the people around there are using for status, because clearly we can't get anything else because of the way the system is set up, right? And how we being treated. All that stuff is just out there, open, on the back of a truck. Sometimes in neighborhoods in the middle of the street, other times on side streets, sometimes parked on the side of major streets. Now, why are these trucks there and what are they doing? What they don't show you, what they don't tell you, is that the police are peppered all around watching, waiting for somebody to go in there and take something. As soon as you take something, they either coming after you right then, or they following you till you get home and then busting you, taking you in to be arrested, adding to their quota. That's what they doing. It's not okay that you're setting people up to get arrested. You're setting people up to go to jail. That's the same thing that they're doing with these cars and these bricks out here. Y'all think these bricks are randomly here for y'all to just throw? Oh, y'all think they doing construction right there. Right. No. It's all a setup for them to get you on camera doing it so that way they can take you and put you on TV later and dehumanize you and spin the story in a certain way. It's the same thing that they doing with these cars that are randomly out here. Y'all know how many of these police cars, I'm like, yo, why are these police cars just randomly chilling? And why are the officers not getting them, driving them away? Why they just letting them sit here? Why they letting them break these windows and devalue these things? They want that to happen so that way it can be shared later, so that way they can get reinforcements to go in and really start knocking people over the head so that the National Guard can be called in. That's why they're doing it. That's my main issue with all these riots and looting, is that other people are causing them and we're getting blamed for it. It's infuriating. After already having to deal with the emotions of having all this stuff happen constantly, and now we're being talked about in the news. And also, let's not forget the people that are going out there instigating stuff. Like, I've seen some people talk about, protesters are out here beating people senselessly. Have y'all seen the rest of the video that they're not showing you? I've seen 3 instances where people have gotten beat up outside. In those 3 instances, one of them had a bow and arrow, hopped out his car. He drove to the protest, hopped out the car, started shouting all lives matter, backed the F up, and then was starting to shoot his bow and arrow at people. He was trying to hurt people. And what he'd say later on the news, 2 black African Americans beat me up. What, bro? Why you prone to lying? I saw the video. You were screaming all lives matter. You got all the hands that matter put on your face. It wasn't black people that beat you up. Everybody pitched in to beat you up. Excuse me. Everybody pitched in to make sure that you felt it. Another instance, there was somebody else, they got beat almost to a vegetable state, which I don't condone any of that, right? Obviously, I don't want any of that to happen to anybody. Why did that happen? When you look deeper, that man was running around with a sword trying to hit people. People are running around with bow and arrows and swords trying to hit people, inciting more violence. But again, y'all only want to show a part of what's going on and not the entire picture. Why is that? Why do you only want to show a part and not the whole thing? What's going on here? And the third one, some dude was going out there, man, look, he was just talking outside of his neck, bro. You don't want to do that to people when they already fed up. That's on him. Just like these other 2 instances are on them as well. You can't go out there starting to do that. Especially when you out here wearing Make America Great Again gear and you know how people are feeling right now. You putting yourself in a situation to get hurt. Should they be hurt? I don't want anybody to get hurt. But if you're going out there inciting violence, you best believe you're going to catch these hands from some people out there that's feeling away. You got to know that going into it. And the fact that they beating up journalists too. I mean, journalists have consistently become vilified to people. So the fact that all this is going on, man, y'all got to look at the big picture and see what's happening. See what's going on out here, man. This is only going to be the beginning if y'all don't start to fix and address these things. It's going to get a lot worse. It's going to get a lot worse. I don't think any of us are truly prepared for that. I need to start getting ready. Start getting ready. Last thing that I do want to say about this before I hop over into what my week specifically has been like is that I saw a tweet and I'm speaking about this because like I'm a former collegiate athlete, right? I have family members that are collegiate athletes that are former, current, and future collegiate athletes because they got offers already. That's just a little stunt. All right, I'm gonna relax. It was a tweet about how college coaches right now are in a difficult position because they have to appease to the people that are paying their bills, that are paying for them to be there, and to the players that they sign to their team. I don't think it's a difficult position for them to be in. These college coaches, these institutions that make so much money off of these black bodies need to protect these same people that put their bodies on the line for their sport day in and day out. Be the same people that y'all went into their parents' homes and said y'all would be. Y'all said y'all gonna mold these men and women into fine citizens and that y'all will be there for them. Actually do that. Do that. It's not a difficult position to be in. Y'all know what's right and wrong. And if y'all choose not to say nothing, I hope you get fired. I hope your job is taken away from you because you don't deserve it. You don't deserve it in any way, shape, or form. You going in there lying just to get these black bodies on your team for them to use up all they got for you to get more rich. They only got 4 years of eligibility. You can coach until you die. You can coach for 40, 50 years. It ain't fair. So no, it's not a difficult position to be in if you know what's right. I'm just gonna roll into what it's been like for me this past week, man. It's been rough. It's been rough. I haven't been able to create anything. That's why I haven't put anything on my YouTube channel. Like all week, I've like set up different things that I wanted to do, how I wanted to be able to, we gonna do this, we gonna do that. It's been hard, man. It's been hard because I've been trying to focus on how I feel about all of this. How many times I've had to detach myself just to reattach myself to become re-engaged in everything that's going on, man. This is tough to live in. And some of y'all will never know what that's like. And the fact that you will never know what that's like means that you need to do more work for what you can do. You need to look at these politicians that you're putting in office, your family members that's spewing this hating, racist rhetoric. It's hard having to see that every single day on the same platforms I'm trying to create to make my career off of. Can you imagine being a content creator and having to go and see people that look like you be murdered, but still have all these brands that you're working with say, yo, we got deadlines we need to meet. We need you to create this content, pump this out. That's tough, man. That's hard. That's real hard. Ain't nothing easy to work with in any way, shape, or form. It's not okay. It's not okay at all. So check on all your black friends, man. Check on anybody that you know that's black. Because it is hard for us out here, man. My great-grandparents had to go through this. My ancestors had to go through this. My great-grandparents had to go through this. My grandparents had to go through this. My parents had to go through this. And now I'm having to go through it. Meanwhile, your lineage just sat by and watched. And if your people been doing something about it, then clearly I ain't talking to you. Y'all know who I am talking to because you feel a way about everything that I'm saying. I'm going on these platforms trying to create, and I see that Black Lives Matter and George Floyd are being shadow banned. My homie hit me up and was posting a picture from a protest that he took. IG wouldn't let him post it because he had Black Lives Matter in it as a hashtag. TikTok wouldn't let people post anything that had Black Lives Matter or had George Floyd. It got no traction. It's like a post and it just disappears. It just sits there in the ethos. It don't alert none of your followers. What kind of sense do that make? That again lets you know who these platforms are built for. That shows you more of the injustices that's going on out here. I'm trying to spread the news about what's happening and what people can do to help, and y'all blocking it? Imagine that all your friends have to deal with this on a day-to-day basis and then have to go into work on a Monday morning and act like everything is fine. The same people who are sitting by watching all this stuff happen to us. The same people who are out here just, I'm having me a mimosa today. I think I'm gonna just chill. I think I'm gonna just watch TV. Those same people I gotta go in to work with on Monday. Not me specifically, but other people, other black people that I'm speaking for, have to go into work and act like everything is fine. Do y'all know how much that breaks us on the inside? how hard that is to have to swallow that and go into work every single day, man, that's tough. It's something we don't want to deal with, but we have to deal with it. Why? Because that's who we are. And that's where we are in society, and that's where the system has us. So check on your people, man. Check on your people. This week has been extremely rough. And I got hope. I'm an optimistic person. I know everything gonna be all right. But it ain't gonna be if y'all continue to wait on the sidelines and not help us out. Step up, man. Woman, person, step up. It's y'all turn. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that right there was Say With Your Chest. So now we're going to go ahead and get ready to end the show. We got Stay Tailored this week and who was untailored this week. So who was tailored? Who was being the best of themselves and out here doing some positive things and shining light? Who was basically just being a boss this past week? I got a couple people, man. First up, Jackie Ina. She was out here tagging brands and saying, yo, if y'all gonna use our culture, y'all gonna use our aesthetics, y'all gonna use our likeness to sell y'all products, y'all need to be out here speaking on what's happening. Y'all need to be out here donating to the people that's making a difference. Y'all need to say something. Y'all can't use our culture to build a business off of and remain silent on the issues that we face. Major love to Jackie Ina for doing that, because that was amazing for me to be able to see and was very, very instrumental in me moving forward and saying the same things to people that I know. Next up are all of the black protesters who are stopping the looters that are opportunists. I want to send major love to all the people that are out there that are blocking people from destroying buildings, blocking people from looting, blocking people from setting ablaze to things that are not a part of the movement. People that are simply just using this as a way to get their rocks off because they frustrated about whatever it is that they feeling in their life. Shout out to all of y'all, because y'all are some of the unsung heroes out there this week that are helping to pull people together at a time when we most certainly need it. I'm going to take that forward and also say the people that are donating to the bail funds, thank you guys. I understand that all of y'all can't be out there, but everybody that's donating to help the people that are out there and that are being arrested for no reason, that are helping them to get out, we appreciate each and every last one of y'all. Thank you for the contributions that you're adding. Please make sure that you are sharing that, not for social status, not to be a pick-me, but sharing it so that way we know that you care. Because right now we can't see that. We have to see it in order to believe it. Thank you for what you are doing. The last thing I want to say is shout out to Joshua Dobbs, who is a backup quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars, who is also a certified rocket scientist now. He's participating in a NFL Players Association externship program where he got to participate and help out and work on some of the things that were used to make sure that the SpaceX and NASA launch was successful. Shout out to him for being tailored and staying tailored this past week, because that's amazing to see, my brother, and I'm so happy for you. Congratulations on all of that, man. That is absolutely amazing. Thank you for being a beacon of light during this time. For everybody that was untailored this week, all y'all white supremacists, forget y'all. Forget y'all. For going out here inciting these riots. For provoking violence while wearing y'all badges. For covering y'all badges up. Y'all are despicable. And I hope y'all know that y'all time is coming, man. Y'all time is coming. And for all y'all that are out there to see your colleagues doing this, they refuse to speak up on it, y'all just as bad too, because you're not saying anything. Now I understand it's rough for y'all. I understand it's hard. But this is why you signed up for the job. You didn't sign up just to beat people up. You signed up to be a change agent. You signed up to make a difference. So do that. I got a buddy that's a cop that's fighting hard to do that. He understands what he's up against, but he knows what he signed up for. So do y'all. Act like the real authority in this situation and be bigger than what's going on. That's why you got the job. Do that. Who else is untailored this week? All the celebs out here that are tripping, bro. Just be quiet. Just be quiet. But if you don't want to be quiet, go ahead and mess up what you got going on. Because if you ain't got nothing good to say, just hush. And if you out here generalizing everybody that's out here protesting and it's causing these riots and it's causing all the looting, I implore you to do more research so that way you can understand who's actually starting all of this. Because you out here looking funny as well. And lastly, to all the white allies who are silent, who are not saying anything, who are being quiet, your time is coming too. Because now you see that they treating you the same way they be treating us out here. So don't think you're going to be all right, because you're not. You're not. Y'all see everything that they do out here, they start with black people, but then they make their way on to everybody else. Don't think you any different. Don't think just because you white is different for you. It's only a matter of time before they start picking out certain white people that they like versus the ones they dislike. I implore you to start working with us now so that way it don't go that route. But if you don't, best of luck to you. Best of luck to you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the Alternative with Melvin Taylor II radio show. Remember, you can find me here every single week, Monday nights, 11:55 p.m. until 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find me at melvintaylorii.com. You can find me on social media, Melvin Taylor II. You can find the show itself, The Alt, TheAltWithMel, The Alt with Mel, on all social media platforms as well, man. Especially our YouTube channel, where more of our videos will be going up. As always, stay blessed, stay favored. Always stay tailored. If you got a dream, see it through. And I'm going to see you guys next time on the show, man. Peace and love.